Hey there, friends and followers. So what if I told you that there was a way that you could get detailed information on a given home or property that you were interested in that wasn't made obvious or upfront to you? Stay tuned for the next couple of minutes to pick up a tip or two from this list of readily available pieces of information. So yes, as always, welcome back. Now, whether you're a nosy neighbor, a general consumer, or a new or existing real estate agent, which is where this information really comes in handy, what a lot of individuals don't realize is that they can get some immediate details about various aspects for a given home or land parcel all from a few quick clicks online. Florida, in addition to a few other states here in the country, falls under a public records law, which essentially states that any records made or received by any public agency in the course of its official business are available for inspection unless specifically exempt by the Florida legislature. Now, regarding real property, the majority of this information is funneled down into county-specific categories and made available through a given county's property appraiser's website. The idea behind the property appraiser is to uphold government accountability and in providing access of data to citizens and property owners to be used in making personal or professional decisions. Upon looking at a given property report card for any property, it will provide you with such information like the parcel ID number, type of structures on the land, legal descriptions, and any flood zone or zoning details. But what other useful data can you get from the property appraiser report cards? Well, for instance, these next 5 things. Item 1 is going to be property tax information. So there's a couple details to this. Now you can view a given property's tax roll bill, which outlines the owed taxes for each calendar year as far back as 10 to 15 years. Here you can view any type of added special assessments to a given property or any past delinquencies that haven't been paid or accounted for. This is usually how some people can get a heads up on up-and-coming tax deed sales if a given property has an extended history of unpaid property taxes. You can also get a view of assessed values for that property as well as any exemptions that are existing or affecting the parcel or property. Contained within is also the millage rate information, which is the number multiplied against the value of that property, which determines the property tax. Item number 2 is absentee owners. Now, a lot of times, homes here in Florida are bought and used as either vacation homes or secondary residences. The property appraisal will give you the situs location for a property here in the area. The situs is where the property is treated as being located for legal purposes. This can come in handy if, for instance, you're interested in a vacant piece of land that sits right next to your new home and you wanted to inquire further if that given owner was interested to sell that parcel of land. Now you can look up a name and forwarding address to inquire further on it. Item number 3 is going to be permits. Now this section can be really helpful. It gives you the ability to view any type of improvements or how long ago those improvements have been made to a specific property via the recording of that permit through the county or city. Not only that, but if you're trying to track down the vendor who performed the work or improvement, you can generally find that information contained within as well. Please keep in mind though, however, sometimes homeowners do not always pull permits for the work done on their homes. This section can be really useful too when tracking new construction home builds as well, as any inspections that are done are recorded as well as the results and outcomes of said inspection. Item number 4 is going to be property transfer and sales verification. So this section is pretty much as it sounds. Anytime that a property has changed possession from one individual to another and has been recorded, that information will be posted under the property. Not only will you be able to see when the transfer took place, but if the change was a verified sale or was bought with financing, the amount that was exchanged will be recorded here as well. Additionally, the type of instrument that was used to transfer possession is generally listed, be it either a warranty deed, a quitclaim, or some sort of bank or court order transfer. Any type of probate or transfer via one's death and right of survivorship will also here be listed. And lastly, item number 5 is various notes and information. Again, pretty straightforward. Any type of special details or quirky nuances that go along with a property will usually be notated. Various items like sinkhole activity or compromises to the foundation, fires, listed businesses, additions, damages, makes and models of manufactured homes, and sometimes random measurements will all be jotted down here. While these details can be helpful, keep in mind that there are some instances in which information remains unknown and therefore will not be recorded. Now, while we're on the subject of the property appraiser, you guys are going to want to slide over and check out this next video on Homestead Exemption, as that deadline is rapidly approaching come March 31st. For great real estate tips like this or information regarding the buying or selling process here in North Central Florida's beautiful OCALA, Marion County area, reach out via my information provided below and let me know what I can do for you. As always, thanks for tuning in and checking out the videos, and we'll catch you guys on the next.